And this service follows that. Have we been fed already? Yes. And there's more. Good morning, Unity of Tustin. My name is Kathy Andrews, and I am the secretary of your board, and it's my privilege to welcome you to our Sunday service today. So to all of you joining us here and online, thank you for joining us, both everybody that's online and everybody that's here. It's a very busy world, and we welcome that you are here sharing your energy with us and to everything that's been accumulating here and will be in the future. And just a reminder to please silence your cell phones so as not to interrupt the service. We're blessed to have our own Mary Jeanne Hawes here today as our platform speaker. We look forward to your inspiration for us. And I have sitting here before me our Voices of Unity Choir is our featured musical group. Welcome back. I think a theme in this community is the amount of capacity we have that shows up in times like today and every day. Reverend Shara is not here today because her father passed away and she's traveled to Connecticut to attend his services. So we send our love, prayers, and support for her in this transitional time. And we're appreciative of the amazing team that are pulled together to do some of the things that she usually does, so that we're here and we're having a very powerful service. So announcements as far as other things going on today, here at this campus. The silent prayer team meeting, which was scheduled for this afternoon, has been postponed and will be rescheduled for a date in August. And spirit groups are progressing wonderfully and will have their combined group celebration on June 26th. That's the same day as our community meeting, I believe. I can speak personally as a facilitator that what it's feeling like in the spirit groups is how we've got amazing material to work with, and we're exploring it together as equal participants. That everybody's got a different part in it, and we're exploring it as people are jumping in to experience the opening prayer, a closing prayer, a member support person. We've got people working on what our service project is. And it's an amazing experience how we're all participating together, exploring the material, which you know is great. Each group has an opening meeting, 6 meetings together, a group celebration, a celebration all together, and a service project we do together. And we're trying out to see this model, and we usually have an adventure in faith in the fall, and there'll be another chance for people to sign up and see what this is all about in the fall. And today is birthday Sunday. Would all people with birthdays in June please stand, and Carol will play Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, June birthdays. Happy birthday to you. Yes, and for Shirley the presents, we have Margie.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can hear the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Good morning. I am Mayor Stevens, prayer chaplain, and I'm always in recovery when Margie sings. It's so beautiful. Thank you. The presence is with us today. So I'm here to light the Christ candle. The Christ candle reminds us that it is better to light a candle than to curse the dark, and that we have the Christ light within us. It's patience, faith. The word for the day is truth, and the affirmation is the light of truth shines in my heart. And the Bible scripture is from that most mystical book of John, 1 John chapter 2, verse 8, the new commandment. Yet I am writing you a new commandment that is true in him and in you, because the darkness is passing away and the true light is already shining. We do walk in this kaleidoscope of light and dark through life. That is the fact of life that has to be accepted. So we don't want to accept the dark part, but it's part. It is part. And this chapter goes on. So if you go down to the 9th verse, I'm going to paraphrase. It's that famous part, many of you are probably already thinking it, that those who speak the light and hate their brothers and sisters are really in the darkness. And we know that animosity and hatred and vitriol destroys the vessel that contains it. And then the other part of that verse goes that those who carry the light and love their brothers and sisters manifest the light, carry the light, and will not stumble. So it does feel like we stumble, because it isn't easy to love one another when there's behavior that is not acceptable. And it doesn't mean that we accept all behavior or all conditions or situations. It means that we hold compassion for the behavior, the motivation, the pain that caused all that. And then we walk together in the light to make it better. So let's say this affirmation together. The light of truth shines in my heart. Ready? The light of truth shines in my heart.
Good morning. Will you pray with me? Beloved Creator, we gather today in prayer, grateful beings of light and love. So grateful to have this opportunity to pray with you together, to remember that we are all one, to offer our voices and our love, the light of truth that is within us. We thank you for blessing us, for creating us from you, by you, placing divinity and the light of truth within each of us. And to show our gratitude, we do our best to manifest your love here on this earth. And we release this prayer of love to you, knowing that we're all together with you in love. And so it is. Amen.
My name is William Dexter. I want to welcome you all with great love and respect. And it is now time for meditation. And you know, it's comforting about meditation. The one thing is you cannot do it wrong. The only bad meditation is no meditation. So I invite you at this time to close your eyes or fix your gaze and put your attention on your heart. Maybe you want to put your hand on your heart. And just breathe. Pay attention to your breathing and just relax. I'll say a short prayer and then we'll go into the silence, and then we'll say a prayer when we come out. Lord, lead me from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there's injury, pardon. Where there's doubt, faith. And where there's despair, hope. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we're pardoned, and it is in dying to self that we're born into eternal life. Peace, peace, peace.
I will be with you. That is my promise. I will be with you forevermore. Trust in my love. Bring me all your cares, for I will be with you forevermore. You are my people, and I am your God. I made you a promise to be with you always, because I really love you. I really love you, and I will be with you forevermore. You have received me. Now go and spread my word. You are within me, and I am with you, because I really love you. I really love you, and I will be with you forevermore. I will be with you. That is my promise. I will be with you forevermore. Trust in my love. Bring me all your cares, for I will be with you forevermore. Trust in my love.
Thanks, Jim. Good morning. Last week, which seems like a year ago to me, Shara talked about ending the 5-month study of the 5 unity principles. We spent 5 months talking about each of the unity principles. There is one presence and one power in the universe, God the Good. Each of us has a piece of that divinity within us. Some would even say we are that divinity. Prayer and meditation are the gateways to connecting with that divinity within us, to opening to that. Our thoughts determine our life. Stinkin' thinking, as some people call it, isn't the pathway, won't get you there. And of course, the 5th one, everyone's favorite. It does no good to know all these things unless you're going to put them into practice. Now, those of you that have been in a spirit group have actually been going really deep into all 5 of these principles. So you could probably be up here telling me about it. For the next 3 months, the focus is going to be on radical authenticity. Now, at first I thought, what does that mean? So I looked it up, or I looked up one definition. Being radically authentic is the willingness to risk living from a set of priorities that systematically challenge defensive and controlling life structures, like self-doubt, distrust, people-pleasing, conformity, and fear of rejection. Those things give us a sense, an illusion of security, but they really are at the expense of our deepest longings. So today I want to focus on the getting real part of radical authenticity. Because getting real means first getting real with ourselves. Unless we take a hard look at ourselves, we just operate out of these same old patterns. Emily Dickinson calls it the corridors of the brain. Now, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but I'll make you a bet that there are many people sitting in this room who've taken their turn on the couch to try to learn more about themselves. And that's wonderful. That's important. That's foundational. And as Marianne Williamson says, if therapy was the answer, we'd all be well by now. So I heard that Apple has a new watch coming out. They've always got some new thing coming out, right? And the watch is going to be able to tell you when you're exercising, how much you're exercising, whether it's doing you any good. They use metrics to measure, all sorts of things. You can go swimming with it. You can go surfing with it. It measures irregularities in your heart rate and respiration. Pretty soon they're going to have one that comes out that's going to actually measure your blood pressure. They're working on that, so they'll do it one of these days. They'll get it. It even takes an electrocardiogram. You used to have to go to the doctor to have that. Now you can just have it on your wrist. It tracks your sleep, not only how long you're sleeping, but the quality of your sleep. I don't know exactly what that means, but there's now one that even has like one of those little life alert things that says, I think you've taken a hard fall. Would you would you like to send for help? So we can have all these measurements at our wrist. We can also go to the doctor and find out about our cholesterol and our blood pressure and our blood sugar, and of course our weight, as if we didn't know. We can go to our financial advisor and get a picture of our financial health. or not, depending on your situation. We get a performance rating at our jobs. If you're in school, you get grades. So there's all these opportunities for measurements and how am I doing and what's my situation, and all these people telling you, giving you a score. So that got me thinking. It's kind of how my mind works, I guess. I spent a lot of time and money and devotion on the spiritual path. How am I doing? Where's my report card? Am I enlightened yet? Do I have higher consciousness? How do I know? And most important, who can do this measurement for me? Is there somebody that I can ask, well, what do you think? How am I doing? Can I ask Spirit? Give me a rating from 1 to 10. How's it going? So if you've been here for a while, you know that your spirituality it's an inside job. It's your business. It's your work. And when I say work, I don't mean work like digging ditches or doing your taxes. It's work like the work of knowing yourself, the work of going within. And that can be wonderful. It can also be very painful and difficult at times. There are teachings that can guide you. There are spiritual teachers that can point to things on the spiritual path. You can come here and be in this island of sanity. I loved when Shara said that last week. I think we should put that on Facebook. Unity of Tustin, Island of Sanity. And at the same time, this is a sacred responsibility. This is something that is very deeply sacred. So at this point, I remembered a story from the New Testament. Most of you know this story. And we call it the parable of the vineyard workers. There was a vineyard owner, and he hired some people to do some work in the vineyard. And during the day, he hired some early in the morning, and then he brought some more on at noon, and then he hired some other ones later in the day. And at the end of the day, he paid them all the same amount of money. And the ones he hired at the beginning of the day, they're a little bit mad, right? And they're going, wait a minute, there's something wrong here. We worked the whole day, and you paid us the same as you paid that person that came on at 3 p.m? And he says, I can do what I want with what is mine, and I want to be generous. And then he says something kind of funny. He says, the last shall be first, and the first last. And you can just picture these vineyard workers going, huh? So that's the way it works, though, in spirit. In the spiritual realm, it doesn't matter how long you've worked. Grace is given freely. Grace isn't something that we hoard depending on how hard you've worked or how difficult your life has been. Grace is just given freely. The spiritual world doesn't operate in the same logic, I guess you would say, as the physical world that we live in here. So those vineyard workers, when they said, well, that's not fair, sort of like junior high students would say, right? The vineyard worker, or the vineyard owner, who we know is God, Spirit, says, I want to be generous. This is how it works in my world. Doesn't matter when you come on. So I thought, okay, fine. Let's close the book on that whole, maybe I don't need a measurement about how I'm doing spiritually. Well, as sometimes tends to happen in these cases, the answer came. And of all places, it came from Unity Worldwide Ministries. Now, we're part of Unity Worldwide Ministries. We're kind of like a franchise, is the way I would describe it. We get a lot of advice and guidance from them. They give us much support on a lot of issues. We pay them for this, which is something I like to be clear about. We don't receive money from them. We pay money to them. So just as so often happens in cases like this, where you ask a question, Spirit provides the answer. And the answer is called a spiritual maturity assessment. Now, maybe you're thinking, I don't want a spiritual assessment. And I totally get it. I totally do get it. That, you're doing the best you can. I'm sure you're all very nice people and you believe all the right things. But I'm asking you to think about this one thing. We talk a lot about transformation around here. And transformation isn't just being a nice person and believing the right things. Transformation is the deep work of knowing yourself and knowing that we are beyond flatland. Ken Wilber talks about flatland. We believe there's a higher knowing, a higher consciousness. And so this is where the transformation part comes in. Otherwise, it's just going through the motions. It's just talking the talk without walking the walk, I guess is the way you would look at it. So the ushers are going to come forward with a little prompt that I created from the spiritual assessment that I got from Unity Worldwide Ministries. Actually, I condensed it a little, and if you're someone who's really attached to these kind of evaluations, I'll give you the whole thing, and you can evaluate yourself as long as you like. Ushers, are you passing them out? Okay. And Liz, can I have one of those, please? Thank you. So while they're passing them out, I'm going to read the poem. Of course, we have to have a poem every time I'm here, right? So this is one of Rumi's, one of my very favorites. People want you to be happy. Don't keep serving them your pain. If you could untie your wings and free your soul of jealousy, you and everyone around you would fly up like doves. When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. So if you need a pen or whatever, that's fine too. So I want to say one thing before we actually have each one of you take a look at this. And I want to talk about one of the points that I have made a transformation on. And I want to talk about it a little. And that one's number 8. I have learned to wait upon God and allow things to unfold. Yes. Oh, okay. All right. I've learned to wait upon God and allow things to unfold. In the Hindu tradition, that might be called karma yoga. Karma means action, right? And karma yoga is taking action without being attached to the outcome. Now, does that sound easy? It's not. It's very, very difficult. It's sort of the opposite of logical. It's like we just talked about the vineyard workers and all being paid the same amount. It's not logical to do things without expecting a certain outcome from them, right? Very difficult to do. So I used to be the poster girl for whatever the opposite was of letting go and letting God, we might say, right? The very first time I went to a Unity church, which was many years ago in Kansas City, the person speaking said, just set your intention and how is none of your business. And I thought, that is absolutely crazy. Who does anything without just setting an intention and saying, well, whatever happens, happens, right? I'm not attached to the outcome. I was very attached to the outcome. If you don't take charge, nothing will get done. You got to do it. If it's going to happen, it's up to you, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean. Now, I must say this is a work in progress, and I'm doing pretty well. Some of you are aware that I've had kind of a challenging time around here lately. And when Christy was here, many of you know Christy, she and I were able to, we were a good team. We were able to create a pretty good, we didn't cover all the bases. I want to say we were doing like maybe 85%, let's say. I mean, we were making things happen and we were able to be generative, which is a different thing than just keeping things going. Being generative is making things happen. So, most of you know that Christy left, went on to bigger and better things, as they say, and I hired someone to take her place who lasted about 8 days. And no problem. You know, these things happen, right? It just didn't work out. Better to know after 8 days than to go on for 8 months and then have it fall apart. Tuesday morning, this past Tuesday morning, I prayed with my beloved prayer partner. And I've been praying with her for 10 years now, every Tuesday. It's just been a very meaningful experience. And we are kind of the dynamic duo, right? So we were going to hit this head on. We were going to figure out the strategy of what we were going to do. So we came up with this whole plan, and I got myself to here to work, and I walked in, and Shara was crying because her dad had passed away. So I was able to be with her. I was able to sit with her and be fully present with her at that moment. The old me would have been saying, OMG, what are we going to do about Sunday? And I didn't. I was able to be fully present with her until she brought it up. I have to mention to you, what about Sunday? Because I'm not going to be here. So we came up with another plan. I threw that other plan all away, just got rid of it. I don't even remember it now. Maybe it'll come back to me at some point if it's supposed to. My entire schedule shifted from what I thought I was going to be doing, setting up these meetings and getting a strategy and getting this going and getting things organized. And it shifted to the real priority was first to be with her, and second to let her know that she didn't have to worry about what was going to happen on Sunday. So letting God, letting go, karma yoga, setting your intention and not caring about how, the how is none of your business. It's the work of a lifetime, right? It might even be the work of eternity. But it's definitely not my growth edge anymore. Right now, one of the things I could be fretting about, trying to strategize about, is retirement. What are you going to do when you retire? People ask me this all the time. Where are you going to live? Where are we going to go? All that stuff, right? And I just know that when the time comes, I'll know what the right thing is to do. Now, that might sound kind of frivolous, la-di-da, the total opposite of the way my personality is at times, right? But I see it as faith in action. This is what it means to be living in that knowing, right? So let's take a few minutes to look at this assessment. If one kind of jumps out at you, and one of these might, and when I say jumps out at you, I mean the one that you go, I really could be doing a lot better at that, right? So I'm going to do the same thing. And then what I'd love to do is have a couple people come up. Remember, we're getting real today. This is radical authenticity. And kind of talk about the one they picked and the little action they plan to take. Nothing big, nothing huge, but something that will, make a difference for you. So let's take a few minutes. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. I just feel sure somebody will want to come up, though, and say a couple words. So can we have a little music maybe in the background? And then we'll just take about 5 minutes or so. What? Nobody's here. Okay. That's fine. All right. And there's a little place on the front for you to write something. Are there no more? Really? Kathy? No more. Sorry.
Not sure of the full assignment, but I know the one that makes.
Okay, so Meredith Carter is going to get real with us right now.
Well, the one that makes me cringe is number 12. I do not take things personally. That is false. So, but I'm not sure where I'm supposed to go with that. So,
Okay, well, maybe thinking about it for a while, like, if we just sort of acknowledge, I don't have the answer either, but I know you
Yeah.
do.
well, I understood I was supposed to find the one that resonated the most strongly.
Right,
So
that's right.
I did that part,
Right.
and then I stood up. So I just know that I do take things personally, and if I give it the 3 days, somebody said don't do anything for 3 days and then you'll speak better or something. So if I do that, then I can step back from it. But usually when somebody says something that I take personally, I strike back like a snake, which is not 3 days later.
Okay. You don't wait 3 days and then.
No,
right.
no, I
Okay,
don't sit
okay.
there coiled up for 3 days going, oh, what do I do about, no. That would not be my style.
Thank you, Meredith. Will you let us know how it's going? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just watch what you say to me.
Okay. Kathy.
I circled a couple things on here and circled because I'm an Enneagram 1, which means I'm into this holy perfection. That's the part I focus on. I'm not too much of a perfectionist, but I noticed I went on this hike with some friends yesterday, and somebody mentioned, oh, I just had to turn off the radio when I heard the people talking about Uvalde. And when I finished the hike, I realized how I saw it was we immediately started talking about gun control, and then I went off on this, and I went off on that about things that is wrong with society, and want to vote with my feet and move to Italy or something, and because I don't see things getting better, but I'm just so fired up by all these things. So I'm circling, and then I got home and I said, I was just like irritated inside about all this stuff and feeling nobody's going to like me because they get me and I'm just talking about politics and it's just not light anymore. I'm no fun at all. And I said, the woman whose name starts with G, she just probably never wants to see me again. Because all I do is like the last 15 minutes of this hike repeatedly. I just notice we end, and I've been going off on this and that has to do with justice. And so I apologized. I sent her a little text that said, sorry for not listening better when you brought up how you had to change it. And I'm like kind of stewing in the back of my mind, like, what am I going to do? Because these people never want to see me again. And then she's like 6 hours later, she says, no apologies. Everything's fine. And I was like, what is this about? Is it, and I'm looking at these and I said, what's the self-inquiry into what's up for me? Why do I don't value my own opinions, how I see the world. I'm like, okay, have some confidence about that. And I looked at the front here and I said, oh yeah, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. And I went back and I said, oh yeah, Thursday night, we were sitting around the table and I said, and the guy across from me said, you're in Enneagram 1, aren't you? I said, very good. Because I'm thinking, oh, he senses that I'm always looking for perfection in things. And he said, yeah, what you were talking about with how your move for justice and stuff. And I said, oh, yeah, that's a big blind spot. I don't look at the one that way, but it's so big in me. And it is. It's this river that comes from my soul that moves me to really care about these things.
Thank you, Kathy. Kim.
Hi. Yeah, so number 7 spoke to me. I have the ability to look beyond appearances to see what is really important and respond from that awareness. And it kind of relates to what Kathy was saying, but there are so many highly opinionated voices in our society, should I say it that way, and versions of truth. And what I really know deep down, well, when I was driving here today, I'm going, those people are so stupid. And I find that, I say that a lot. But what I really know is that it isn't it's not about intellect, it's about emotion. And those people are coming from an emotional unhealedness or something. And I need to heal my own self too, because when I judge people, then I'm just kind of doing the same thing and perpetuating that sort of energy. And so this is about, looking beyond appearances is what are they saying, and look beyond it, why are they saying it, and stop judging.
Thank you, Kim. Okay, we'll have one more, Susan.
Good morning. The item that spoke to me the most was number 3. I have been told by many people that I am not empathic, but that I am an empath. And if you read number 3, it sounds all well and good. I have the ability to connect with a deeper sense of compassion and peace and allow that connection to dictate what to do next. But one of the reasons I'm considered kind of an introvert is if I get into a crowded room, I actually absorb all the emotions of other people in that room. I don't feel compassionate towards them. I actually absorb their feelings. And that at times can be a very tough thing to do. And that's one thing that I need to work on is it's not me. It's what I'm feeling belongs to somebody else, and I don't need to take ownership of it and react to what somebody else is feeling.
Thank you. So however you feel about assessing your spirituality, whether you feel you're becoming spiritually mature, there are some ways to get some kind of a picture of where you are on the spiritual path. And I found the best way is when that awareness rises up in you, to not shut it down, to not turn it off, to sit with it. That is really how we find out more and more about ourselves and how we are with Spirit. Spirit is pretty good about knowing what it is we need in every moment. So if you want to, take this home, keep it, don't keep it, whatever. But it's been helpful to me this week, this journey of this week, and I thank you all so much for being with me. Thank you.
I always like spiritual homework. Thank you. It's come to the time of welcoming anyone here for the first time. If you'd be willing to raise your hand, the ushers will bring you a welcome packet and a flower. And we have a table right outside with information about things we're doing in the church, so welcome. Okay, and we're now going to have our offering, so we remember that as we give, we receive. The ushers, and when the ushers do come forward, we are going to hear a song composed by our very own Carol Roman, and this is the very first time that it will ever be played. Carol is an incredibly talented musician and composer, so enjoy.
Confused as can be. So I ask for the guidance of Spirit. One day I went to the doctor. He found something that was a mystery. So I prayed for the presence of Spirit. I said, heal me, Spirit, heal me.
Heal me, Spirit, heal me, heal me. Heal me, Spirit, you are my body. Heal me, Spirit, heal me, heal me. Heal me, Spirit, heal me. We meditate in the silence, calm and peaceful as can be. When we feel our connection to Spirit, we say, fill me, Spirit, fill me. Fill me, Spirit, fill me, fill me. Fill me, Spirit, fill me up and bless me. Fill me, Spirit, fill me, fill me. Fill me, Spirit, fill me. We see injustice before us. Confusion and pain fill our days. Let us call on the presence of Spirit and say, love will find a better way. Love is the way of the Spirit. Love of Spirit, love us, fill our hearts. Love of Spirit, love us, love us. Help us take a brand new start. Lead us, Spirit, lead us, lead us. Thank you for leading us. Lead the Spirit, fill us, love us. Thank you for loving us.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's going to be going in my head all day, I hope. Wow. So let's bless these tithes and these love offerings with our love offering blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. Thank you. So we now complete the service with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is